Okay, too strong, too strong. Hi, my name is Nick Ford. I am I consider myself a left-libertarian and a member of the Center for a Stateless Society, as well as the Alliance of the Libertarian Left. And I'm here to talk about work. And I'm sorry if that's dark. I'm having the same issue as Kevin, but that's a picture of Oscar Wilde's The Soul of Man Under Socialism. Thank you. And so in that essay, he basically defines work as activity of any kind. So when I'm talking about work and being anti-work, I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about is work as compulsory labor. So that is my bare bones definition of work as an economic function. So I'm talking about work that it basically comes out of lack of genuine choice instead of work that comes out of an abundance of choice. So I basically come with this definition from a great essay by the post-left anarchist Bob Black in his Abolition of Work, who basically defines economic work as activity that is defined by political or economic forces that basically constrain our options. So when I'm saying, so what being against work does not necessarily mean is that I support government and stuff like that. I'm still a libertarian, still an anarchist, so I don't support the government, reforming work, and I don't think that's even possible. And a good reason why is because historically speaking, the government has had a big hand in reinforcing the Puritan work ethic, hard work and work even if you don't enjoy your job. And if you want a good book about Puritan work ethic, Renegade History in the United States is a great one. And so, of course, I had to include Dilbert. I'd be crazy not to. So I take stuff from the government with a grain of salt. What it does mean is that a distrust of government, as well as advocating expanding workers and all that kind of stuff, expanding worker choices in the marketplace by creating alternative institutions. A few of these examples of this would be eliminating artificial barriers to entry through agorist actions of independent contracting and establishing counterpower through worker cooperatives. Now, there are plenty of reasons why I think libertarians should oppose work as libertarians, but there are also good reasons not to. For one example, there's this short story called Bartleby the Scrivener, where basically the worker eventually dies from saying, "I would prefer not to." I really apologize about all these images. That is a Yu-Gi-Oh card right there. Anyway, so I don't want people to oppose work just because they want to do nothing. I don't think that's a valuable tactic. So I'm not just advocating for pure idleness, but I am advocating for people to instead want to have more autonomy within the workplace, within our own lives, within a section of our lives that we live a lot in, within factories or workplaces or the cubicle or whatever. And one of the reasons why is because I think a lot of the bureaucracy and lack of autonomy that workers have over their choices involved with bosses, because bosses, especially bosses in big corporations, have a lot more bargaining power and social power, as well as economic power, in terms of what the worker actually has. Now, as much as I love the dude from The Big Lebowski, that's actually a picture of him. That's not exactly what I have in mind as an alternative to not working, although I don't have anything against what the dude does in his own spare time. Just like Bertrand Russell in his essay in praise of idleness, I'm a big fan of being leisureful, being idle for the sake of being idle, but I don't think that's actually a valuable tactic in the long run to, obviously abolish work, which I support. So some alternatives to work that I would support, and this one actually came out good, is cooperatives. So I think when you share the work with your fellow workers, I think that the pressure on each individual goes down. Also, you have more autonomy. But obviously, not all libertarians like cooperatives. So I also think being your own boss, being your own being an independent contractor is also a worthwhile thing for much the same reason. Hopefully, in review, I've given you good reasons. So when I'm talking about abolish work, I'm not talking about all activity. I'm talking about abolishing activities in the modern economy that are structured around or based around state and cultural restrictions on labor. And then what it does mean to try to minimize labor, minimize the amount of work in your life can be personal, it can be collective. It can be leading by your own example in your own lifestyle, the way you live, or it can be by creating alternative institutions, and which doesn't mean just giving up or anything like that. And it does mean that the alternatives are far-ranging and, to me, conclude in anarchism. I believe that is it. I think I have one more slide, sorry. Anyway, so thanks everybody for listening, and I got my to-do list done for the day, which includes nothing. So anyway, thank you. Also, everybody check out Alt Expo.